Hi there, welcome to Easy English Lessons. Numbers are one of the first things you probably learned in English class, but saying big, small, or complicated numbers can still be tricky. In this lesson, we'll break it all down and practice together. You'll also learn how to use numbers when talking about trends, money, and dates. Let's get started. Let's warm up with some pronunciation practice. In English, it's easy to confuse numbers like 14 and 40. The key is to put the stress on the correct syllable. In 14, the stress is on the second syllable, 14. In 40, the stress is on the first syllable, 40. Listen and repeat, 1440, 1660, 1990. Now try these pairs, 15 and 50, 17 and 70, 18 and 80. Can you hear the difference? Now let's tackle big numbers. We will start with simple examples of numbers up to a few thousand. Hundreds, 100. In informal English, you can also say 100. For example, there are 100 students in the school, 275. In American English, you can omit the and, 275. For example, the book costs $275. Let's move to thousands, 1,000 or 1,000. Example, the concert was attended by 1,000 people, 1,200. Example, the prize money is $1,200, 4,503. Example, the population of the village is 4,503. Alright, now let's dive into some number reading practice. This part is all about building your confidence. I'll share some numbers, and you can say them out loud. Don't worry if you make a mistake, it's all part of learning. Let's get started. Let's begin with some easier numbers. Say them out loud and check how you did. That's 345. You'd say 720. How did that feel? Pretty good? Awesome. Let's try a few bigger ones. Now let's move on to numbers with thousands. Remember, take your time and break them into smaller groups. Ready? 1,015, 2,408. Pro tip, whenever you see a comma, think of it as a pause. It helps you separate the numbers into groups and makes reading them much easier. Okay, here's your big challenge. These numbers are larger, but don't panic. Break them down step by step. Try saying these. Did you say 9,999? Great job. That's 12,567. You did it. Even if it felt tricky at first, the more you practice, the smoother it will become. Quick tip to remember. When numbers get big, break them into smaller parts like hundreds, thousands, or even millions. For example, instead of getting stuck on big number, just think 123,456. Easy, right? Keep practicing this method. It really works. All right, let's move on to the next part of our lesson, really big numbers. This is where things get exciting. We'll explore how to say millions, billions, and even trillions in English. Don't worry if these numbers feel overwhelming at first. I'll guide you step by step with examples and plenty of practice. Let's dive in. Let's start with some basic examples. This is 1 million. A million is 1,000 thousands. As in sentence, the company sold 1 million units last year. That's 2 million. As in, there are over 2 million people living in this city. Now we're moving to billions. This is 3 billion. A billion is 1,000 millions. For example, the world's population is over 8 billion people. And here we are at trillions. This is 5 trillion. A trillion is 1,000 billions. As in, the national debt is $5 trillion. The trick to saying really big numbers is to read them in groups, separated by commas. For example, start with the millions, 4 million, then the thousands, 823,000, and finally the smaller numbers, 704. So, you'd say 4,823,704. Let's try a few more. That's 125,612. You'd say 3,007,809. Now, I'll give you some bigger numbers to try. Pause the video and say them out loud before I tell you the answers. Ready? Let's go! 9,876,543. 12,345,678. 540,001,123. 1,234,567,890. And now, let's continue with this topic by looking at how to pronounce numbers correctly when we talk about trends, money, and dates. These are super useful in business, travel, news, and even social media. Let's start with trends. This is when we talk about something going up or down over time. For example, sales increased by 20% last year. We say 20%, not 20%. Say it clearly and confidently, 20%. Or, the price dropped from $100 to $75. That's $100 and $75. For big numbers, we usually break them into chunks. Our company made $1,250,000, or more naturally, $1.25 million. You'll often hear decimal numbers too. Inflation rose to 3.7%. Say 3.7%, not 3.7. Now let's move on to money. Always say the currency after the number. I paid $19.99 for this shirt, or more formally, $19.99. Other currencies? It costs 50 euros. They spent 120 pounds on groceries. Simple, right? Now let's talk about dates, which can be confusing at first. For years, we usually split them into two parts. She was born in 1992. Repeat again, 1992. Let's practice in pronunciation. Say next, 1996, 1975, 1830. What about the year 2000? From 2001 till 2009, you should say 2000 and some number. Let's practice. Say next, 2005, 2007. After 2010, both formats for years like 2010 and 2010 are okay. And what about full dates? For them, use ordinal numbers. The meeting is on March 15th, 2025, or our anniversary is on July 21st. That's how native speakers naturally talk about time and money. So today you learned more about numbers and how to pronounce them in different situations, trends, money, and dates. Keep practicing, and you'll sound clear and confident in no time. Thanks for listening to this episode. See you next time on Easy English Lessons.
I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. If you enjoyed the content and found it helpful, hitting that thumbs up button makes a huge difference. It not only shows your support, but also helps others discover this channel. And if you want to stay updated with more insights and fun content, subscribing is the way to go. It's quick, easy, and ensures you won't miss out on anything we share.